happy Patriots Day. I know you're a New Englander, so.
Yeah.
In terms of two matters for you, one domestic, one foreign, starting here at home. The nation is obviously watching right now the closing arguments in the Derek Chauvin trial in Minnesota. And I was hoping you could please walk us through what the federal level of preparedness is right now for a verdict that could be coming in a matter of days. What sort of coordination is there with the states, not just in Minnesota, but elsewhere? If there indeed will be perhaps unrest one way or the other after the riot. Could you walk us through conversations being had with local officials, mayors, governors, and so on?
Well, first let me say, as you all know, the jury is deliberating. We'll come back with a verdict, or they will be deliberating, I should say, after the closing arguments today. They'll come back with a verdict, and we're not going to get ahead of those deliberations. I'm not suggesting you were asking that, but I just wanted to restate that. What I can say is, broadly speaking, we are in touch with mayors, governors, local authorities. Of course, our objective is to ensure there is space for peaceful protest, we continue to convey that while this country has gone through an extensive period, especially the Black community, of pain, trauma, and exhaustion, as we've watched these, not just the trial, but of course additional violence against their community over the past several weeks. It's important to acknowledge that and elevate that at every opportunity we have. But in terms of your question, Jonathan, we're in touch with local authorities, we're in touch with states, with governors, with mayors, and certainly we will continue to encourage peaceful protests, but we're not going to get ahead of the verdict in the trial.
Is there recommendations about in terms of the National Guard and deployments? Have there been conversations about that?
There's a range of conversations about how to ensure that no matter what the outcome, there is space for peaceful protest. But of course, we'll let the jury deliberate, and we'll wait for the verdict to come out before we say more about our engagements.
Okay. And the other matter,
if it is a not guilty verdict, will the president be disappointed?
I think we're not going to get ahead of the jury, the legal process, and the jury making their deliberations, Caitlin. And when the jury makes their deliberations and concludes and a verdict is found, I'm certain the president will speak to that.
And you talked about how the White House is preparing for whatever that verdict is. Congresswoman Maxine Waters said over the weekend that we've got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active, we've got to get more confrontational, we've got to make sure that they know that we mean business. Does the president agree with what she said about getting more confrontational?
Well, I can speak to the president's view. He has been very clear that he recognizes the issue of police violence against people of color, communities of color, is one of great anguish, and it's exhausting and quite emotional at times. As you know, he met with the Floyd family last year and has been closely following the trial, as we've been talking about, and is committed to undoing this long-standing systemic problem. His view is also that exercising First Amendment rights and protesting injustice is the most American thing that anyone can do. But as he also always says, protests must be peaceful. That's what he continues to call for and what he continues to believe is the right